Hi guys. All right. Normally it takes forever, so I'm gonna try it now. Hey, I see you. Let me get you in there. Good job. Let's see how long it takes us to get Anna in. Hi guys. Waving, waving, waving. All right, let me put my phone on the stand.
Hey,
Yes! Wow, that was the fastest one we've had so far.
I'm glad it worked.
Yeah, me too. I don't think it was even that quick when we were sitting next to each other.
Yeah, it made it like more complicated. It was a lot of feedback and stuff.
Well, we had awful feedback. I went back and I was looking at it. Hold on, I'm still putting it in the stand. I didn't realize the audio was that terrible.
Mm. Plus, there's like a lot, it's like in the welding school, so there's a lot of like welding background noise.
Yeah, but I think it had something to do with the metal building. I think it's just an
Uh,
Arkansas thing. I don't know.
and also, there's only like one bar in there and there's no Wi Fi, so it could be that. I mean,
Oh, is that what it is? Maybe that's what it is because I had zero service almost the entire time I've been out there.
yeah, sometimes I don't have service unless I like walk outside. I don't know.
It's the same at the shop in Arkansas too.
Mm.
We're gonna give it a couple of minutes, but do you what kind of weather do you have right now?
It's been kind of rainy, but it's been nice because it kind of like cools it down, for school
I don't know about cool.
a little
You're
bit.
I'm still not used to the humidity.
Mm.
So like just stepping outside, it's so oppressive because it's not just hot, but it's like blistering because of
Yeah, it
the
feels like you're underwater.
it's insane, man. I forgot how quickly I got accustomed to California weather
Yeah.
until I got back to Arkansas and I was like, holy moly.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
it was insane.
nothing like Louisiana. Like I was in New Orleans and it just felt like
No.
I was like, I could never live here. Oh my God. You
Yeah,
can't live.
it's much worse than Louisiana. I have to admit that. Sweet. All right, you guys. So we're back. I feel like I've been gone forever and a day. The last time I did a live was with Anna live at Arkansas Elite Welding Academy. So first and foremost, my name is Tiffany. I'm the founder and one of the hosts over at Welding Women Syndicate. And due to the fact that we didn't have very good reception when I visited Arkansas Elite Welding Academy, I wanted to revisit the interview that I had with Anna only because you have such a very still trying to get situated, guys. You have such a valid story. And I think primarily because you knew absolutely nothing about welding, correct?
Zero.
I love this.
I literally
And
think about like that welding was a job. It's kind of one of those jobs where if you don't know about it, you never think about it. Like, I guess
yes.
I really like, but I just never thought about it. I honestly didn't know welders existed until pretty recently.
Are you serious? That's so cool. You know what? I just love that. And I love the fact that you Arkansas Elite Welding Academy was so a little bit of history, you guys. Straight out of college, I visited AWA to try to go to school for pipe welding because I fell in love with ESMA, the process. And due to a bunch of reasons, I wasn't able to go, primarily because I had my AAS in welding technology. And since you have a degree in welding, you're supposed to be 100% proficient, all these things, where that's not necessarily the case. I
Yeah.
think it's mostly you're taught all these different processes and then you can go to a specialty school, which it's what I was trying to do. Fast forward, jobs and whatever, I'm back in California teaching welding. And since then we've kind of built a relationship where they started tagging their women welders to the syndicate, and that's how I met originally Michaela, who graduated from your
Mm.
school. And then your instructor actually came to me directly and was like, hey, I have this amazing student, I would love for you to interview her. And I actually flew out there. And I feel so bad because
It
it
was
was
so
like
amazing.
it was like the most unannounced visit ever because I had zero service until I was like on the road. And I was like, are you at lunch? Where you at? I got 50
It was
miles
great
till
that
I
you
get.
got there right at lunch. I mean, it kind of worked out perfectly.
I was hoping and praying. I was like, oh my God, I hope she's not in the middle of a test or something super crucial. I would have just waited, honestly, until you were out of school. I don't even care. But yeah, it's super cool that I have the opportunity to actually do the face-to-face. Plus, the evolution of Arkansas Elite from when I first saw it to now they're located in Quitman, it's amazing. So let's kind of go into your background a little bit. This is Anna. Are you actually from Arkansas?
Yeah, I'm from Mountain View, Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
So it worked out great. Live at home and go to
what?
school. Because I just get to stay at home with my mom to go to Arkansas Elite, which works out.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because Mountain View is what, 2 hours away?
About an hour, so not too bad.
Is it an hour? Oh yeah, that's not awful. I know it was 120 miles from the drive out. That's insane. I don't care. So worth it. Okay, so go ahead and tell us what you went to college for originally.
So I double majored in English and philosophy at SMU, and I was originally thinking pre-law. Mm-hmm. And I was all about it, and I took the LSAT, and I loved college because I love to read and I love to learn. But then after I took the LSAT and I was starting to apply to law schools, I just kind of realized, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a lawyer. I like taking tests, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
And so I was just kind of like lost, because like, what do you do? And so I worked at like an environmental nonprofit, and I nannied and waitressed and kind of just, trying to figure things out. And then I decided to go on a backpacking trip to Europe and Asia just to, like, think about things. And I just realized I love to travel, and I love being outside and making art and writing. And I hate being in offices. And I realized I can't do it. I'm not going to be in an office. And so I didn't really have the idea of, like, how to not be in an office until my little brother got in welding school. And I was like, hey, that's an idea. Why not give it a shot? And then I thought I might hate it, like if it would be really physical, and I had no idea what it was. I thought it was like a blowtorch or something. I thought it would be really, like, physically hard, but it's not.
Right.
It's very light touch. I think it's great for artists, and I think it's like something women are suited to because really meticulous and really detailed, and I just fell in love with that, and it's so exciting.
I love that. So what was your first impression as you did your first day at Arkansas Elite?
I was a little overwhelmed on my first day, but my first impression was like, this is so fun. Like, just running beads, I was like, wow, it's just like watching the little puddle, and I was like, it feels like art, and it still does. Like, I love working with my hands, and it's just, I can't believe it's a job you get to do, because it just feels like it. I mean, I just find it really fun. I remember when I toured the school and I saw all the sparks, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like a Lady Gaga music video. Like, I was like, all these sparks behind me, like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I love that. Now, did you feel like self-conscious because were you one of the only women that were at the first day?
Yeah, there was a girl when I first started. She was like about to finish up, Hannah, so that was cool.
Oh, right.
She was really cool.
Yeah.
Then after she graduated, it was just me, but I never really felt uncomfortable because I have 8 brothers, so I'm really used to just being around tons of boys.
Oh,
like,
I love that. Yeah.
They, like, all their sports teams and stuff were always, like, around growing up, so I'm pretty used to it, and it's all good. They're really nice boys at the school. Like, no one's ever been mean or anything.
They are super sweet. I know when I was running amok, I was doing the tour and I was doing the interview with you, and I was all over the place, and everybody was like, excuse me, pardon me. So they were so sweet.
They're so nice. They're all like Southern gentlemen, like if I'm standing there by the chairs and they're in the chair, like someone always gives up their chair for me. And I'm like, they're always like, my mama raised me right. I'm like, oh, it's so cute.
Trust me. You know what? Honestly, that's not necessarily always the case because I went to Arkansas State and it was not necessarily the situation there. You know what I mean? Like, I had a completely different experience in my college. So now, how well received were you with, like, your instructors? Like, did they treat you differently? And I'm only asking because I'm hoping that some woman is going to see this because we're going somewhere with this.
I mean, I'd love to say, like, oh, they treat me just like the boys, but if anything, like, they're way nicer to me. I mean, like, they're
even better.
They're all aware that, like I'm a woman going into a man's field, and they have the best advice, and they're very honest, and they'll tell me about, like, women welders they've met, and they'll tell me, like, about what like welders are like when I get into the field. They're like, they're not all going to be like me, or you know, like and they try their hardest to like really prepare me for the real world. Because it's like they're all so nice and sweet and like just so helpful that I feel like maybe it's giving me like a bad impression of like what the field is going to be like. But I don't
No,
know. I think
no, I mean, it's no different than attending college. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be some good people and there's going to be some bad people. But being primarily the only woman, normally, it's just not often that you see women in the field. With my 10 years right now, I've worked with 3 and I had 4 in one class. So 7 women in 10 years. It's still very odd to see women in the field. But what were you thinking when they told you this is not normally the situation? Were you thinking like, oh God, did I make a mistake here?
you know, I was thinking, like, I'm not that scared of it. Like, I thought coming into the school that they were all going to be assholes, and I was just kind of like, it was like a pleasant surprise to find out they're all just like these incredibly kind men, like so hardworking, so patient, just like the best teachers. And I mean, kind of like at the end of the curriculum, I can understand how hard it must be to deal with the new students. And like with me as a new student, I have like so much respect for them for never laughing at me because, man, when you come in there, no experience, it's like the questions.
You know what? Honestly, as an instructor, I think it's easier when someone doesn't have experience because you don't have to get rid of any preconceived notions of what somebody else taught them or, you know, poor instruction from previous. And then people get offended when you tell them, no, that's not correct. Or, you know, you try to correct it because people are so easily offended. So in my experience, it's just easier with a student who has little to no experience at all.
Well, that was me, tabula rasa all the way.
I love it.
Like,
you know what? I absolutely love that. Now, the reason why I asked this is because one of the things, you know, I'm walking around with Saki, doing the tour and just, you know, talking his ear off. And he had mentioned, you know, something to the effect of that, you know, if anybody is disrespectful, we do have the option of kicking them out. And I was like, that is awesome because that's real life. You act up, you act a fool on the field, they're going to blackball your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what that does is it just sets up a better dialogue for women coming into that school. Like they're better preparing them. They're better preparing the kids for when they go out into the field to have more respect for not only women, but for everybody in general. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think something like a trade school has more power to just like kick people out than a college. Because a college, you have to go through a whole process, you know. But like this school, I mean, I don't even know if it's like technically a registered school. I don't know how trade school works, honestly. I mean, I don't know. But T-Bird can kick whoever he wants out, and he has. Not with anything to do with me, but like you step out of line there, you're gone. Like people have been gone. He doesn't want to put out bad welders into the field, and that includes a bad attitude. And I think really great what he's doing. Like he really wants to improve the field, not just with like good welders, like skills wise, but character wise, which is important too.
Now, what was your impression of T-Bird when you first met him?
Well, I first met him, like my brother showed me his little video, like explaining about the welding school, and I just thought he was like so articulate, and he really like videos he does are good. It really got me in. I was like, whoa, this is a good idea. And then I met him, and he's such a great man, such a great businessman, such a great leader. Like he's so articulate. He's kind of shy, but he has to talk in front of people all the time. It's so fun to watch, you know. But he does it because he really believes in what he's doing, and he's just amazing. I admire him so much.
Oh, I love that. And it's funny because the first time my girlfriend and I visited that school, his energy was just so infectious. And it was interesting because I think it was like 8 days after my house burned down, right? And I was like, I'm still going out there. I do not care. And he was just like, we're going here, we're going there. And they were so gracious. And we're walking the cup on pipe and we're doing this. And oh my God, we did all the things there. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like they're so open-armed when you walk into the school. I loved it. But it was T-Bird in his videos and his just, I love his infectious energy that I was like awe-inspired. You know what I mean? That's why I asked you about him.
He has such a charisma. I mean, but especially a school like this, like it starts at the top, everything, you know, all the teachers, all the students, they take their cues from him.
Yes.
A lot of responsibility. but he's just the best. I mean, when he's on the floor, and he's a really good teacher, but you know, he's busy and stuff, so he can't always be in the booth, but he is a lot, and it's so great when you get him in your booth. He just has the best explanations for everything.
I love that. Now, you were saying earlier, your brother, you guys were going to school at the same time, correct?
He started before me, because I was, you know, had no idea I wanted to be a welder, so he got him. And I was just like, I was in New Orleans, I was in a hotel
There's
there,
Hannah.
and then, what was that?
Hannah's in there.
Oh, cool. Okay. And then he got me to like leave my job, and he was like, Anna, this school is amazing. Get back up here. We're going to welding school.
I love it.
And the next day I was like, okay.
I love that. Now, what program were you taking?
I'm in the combo program. So you start out with the structural program and you learn like MIG and flux and just like stick welding on plate. And then you move on to pipe and you learn TIG and stick welding mainly. And we do some like flux stuff with like rollout wheels. But I'm not that interested in flux, to be honest. It's kind of like, oh, it's a lot. It's hot. You know?
It's very molten, that's for sure. That was one of my first third-degree burns on my arm was from flux core, and I was like, I don't want to do this again. You know?
Yeah, you get burned. I'm not that worried about burns though. If I ever get a serious one, I think I'm just gonna like get a tattoo.
Oh no, this was a serious one. I try not to be a little bitch like ever, you know, obviously we're welders, but this one I just thought, oh, it's no big deal. When I was first introduced to flux core, I was doing overhead and I had on, you know, I had my leathers on, no big deal. I had my FR shirt on, but it had dropped down and I just assumed it was going to be like stick and you can just like flick it off. And it burned through my leathers into my skin, was in my skin, like burning me. And I had to like throw my jacket off and peel my shirt up and I like picked it out of my skin. I think I actually have there's still a really bad scar. And I was shaking so bad I went home. And now that takes a lot, trust me, because I have a really high tolerance for pain. Mm-hmm. Nope, I wasn't having it.
You're like, I'm not a little bitch. I'm going to keep welding.
No, and that was the stupidity part because I didn't realize how molten it was compared to the other processes, and I was still new. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was my worst burn.
I have learned to just stop if you feel it's getting warm because it'll be like burning through sometimes, and it's worth taking a pause. You know, whatever. It's okay.
Yes. No, I've had students where we're smelling something burning, and look and see like someone's pants on fire, and now I'm like, hey. And I remember one girl, her name's Haley, and we were like, Haley, you're on fire, and she's kicking her leg trying to like diffuse the fire while she's still welding. And then we're like, no, really, you're on fire. And so she stops and she's like, I was trying to finish the weld. And I was like, dude, the fringe on your pants, which we always warn people about fringe, it was legit on fire. So she was still trying to maintain the weld, but we're like, no, really, you're on fire.
Discrimination. That's women in welding. Like, we're not gonna.
That's definitely hard-headed.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm so stubborn. Like, part of my learning process is just learning. Like you gotta listen and not be stubborn. You know, just do it how they say. But I'm just like so stubborn. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it my way. For about like 3 or 4 coupons, I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Now, for instance, what are you talking about?
Well, I'll just get set in like a posture that feels comfortable, or with TIG, because sometimes it works out. Like with TIG, I really don't like to weld left-handed, and they're like, you have to weld it left-handed. I'm like, hey, I do yoga. I'm gonna bend around the pipe and just do it right. Right. And they're like, that can't be done. And I'm like, oh, I think it can be. And then I actually pass on that one. So it's like, oh well, you know, maybe you can do it. I'm very flexible. But no, I need to learn all of my left hand.
I love it. Now, did they encourage you to, well, obviously for TIG, but did they encourage you for all the processes to weld left-handed?
They say that you should like learn how to weld with your left hand. They don't make you or anything, but they like strongly suggest that you get kind of proficient with your left hand, especially with pipe.
Yeah, I agree. It's so awkward.
But it's hard to, I mean, I'm not ambidextrous. I can't use my left hand. It's terrible. But
you think it's terrible? Is it just because the lack of, or it's just a foreign idea?
It's just like I'm still really shaky with it. I got to learn how to be more steady. But I guess that just comes with practice.
You know what I've noticed over the years, because I'm right-handed, but I'm also ambidextrous. I have two left-handed children, and my daughter's 25, so I've been using my left hand for over 25 years now.
Oh wow.
And yes, I'm old. But so like right now, like my right hand will hurt, and I just end up being just welding left-handed primarily just because I'm babying my right hand. And I've had students ask me if I'm left-handed. I'm like, no. Why would you say that? Because I just default to my left now. And I think it's actually straighter. My right hand shakes like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to be at that level. But it's like if you're learning and
Yes. Yes. And a carpal tunnel is something to strive for. Yes. Yes. Goals, babe. Goals. I want you to be at that level. Now, what does a day look like when you walk into AOR? What does a day look like when you're going into to start welding?
Well, we start with a safety meeting. We do 3 of those a day. And then you go to your booth and you try to pass like whatever you're on. And they have a really good system for like the teachers where they just have like a sheet on the board and you just go put your number up if you need help with anything. And then they're there like 30 seconds later. So, so the best thing to do is just put your name on the board all day. That's what I do. I try to wear them out, like, and it's so you can just have them all day.
Yeah, no, it's really smart. Take advantage of it. That's why they're there.
Yeah, I mean,
they're smart.
The worst thing, like sometimes if I get upset or if I'm not passing something, I'll realize like, wait, why am I upset? Oh, I haven't put my name on the board. I'm being stubborn. I'm trying to figure it out by myself. Stop doing that. Go put your number.
Yeah, and do you think it's just you wanting to do it on your own?
Yeah, sometimes I think like, oh, I just need to get a feel for this, or I just need to like practice. But then a lot of the times I'll just kind of like, I'm just trying to like, oh, well, I'll just pass. And then it helps to just like take a step back and say like, no, you need some help. You need some advice. Like just go talk to someone about it. Even if they just like say, oh, you're doing fine, just keep at it. Like it just helps to, get a second opinion. Have a teacher tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yes, yes. Students, future students, please listen to her. It's very important. Don't be hard-headed. Let us do our job.
Really don't.
Yeah.
It's it really helps.
Yes, of course it does. That's experience. We're trying to push it forward. Now, what was one of your favorite processes going through the program? Hey, Eliza.
Definitely my favorite process, is TIG, which is what I'm on now. It's like the last part of the program, but I absolutely love it. It's so satisfying. It's so precise. It's so clean. I like that it doesn't like spit fire on you.
All right.
That's nice. I mean, I do enjoy that part, but I just love how forgiving it is. I love how you can like go back in and fix things, and I love how you can get those really smooth beads, like walking the cup, and you can like weave it different ways, and you kind of play with the patterns and stuff, and
yes,
so fun. I love it.
I love it. Now, what was one of the obstacles? I saw they have the heartbreaker, and they have what is it? The boa restrictor. What are some of the little obstacles that they have there? Now, if you would explain what I'm talking about, would you kind of explain the items?
Yeah, restrictors. So we mainly do just our regular curriculum is kind of just like simulating weld tests, but they also do these restrictors because they want you to learn how to like actually weld in a pipe wall, or I don't know what you would call these other ones, but you're in like this box of pipes, I don't know, or a pipe rack, or where you're restricted. So you have to like go with angles, and you like can't get your hand in, and you might have to use like a mini rig for some of them, or like sit in them. Like I did the heartbreaker, where it's like these 4 posts and the 6G pipe is like on the inside, and then I passed it because I was having trouble with it, but then I just got inside it. It was so fun. I was like,
I saw a live of you doing that. Did you see the video I had posted of you? Yeah. I stole it from the Arkansas Elite Welding page. And I was like, oh, cool. There's a live one of her doing it.
But the restrictors are so fun. It made me feel like a real welder, and I think that's why they want you to like actually learn how to be a welder, and like, okay, how am I going to get it? How am I going to weld this? It's really hard to get to, but you figure it out, and it's really fun.
Yeah. I love that. I love that they have that. That was one of the things that I had never seen is the simulators that they had. There was that one. I don't know if they had that when I was there. This was like in 2017. 2017, 2018, something like that. but there is an outdoor simulator too that just basically emulates what you would see on the field. And I have video of them welding on it, and I think that's just a really cool component when it comes to school.
That's their they actually set it up to be just like a job site. And so every Tuesday and Thursday you have the option of like going and like kind of being on a real job site, which is really cool.
Yeah. In the humidity in Arkansas. Wow. Get ready, people. I love it.
How do they do that? Because I mean, I'd hate to see that for the first time, like on the job. Like, oh my God, what? It's so big.
Oh
like,
my God. Right. No, so it kind of takes away that fear or like the unknown. Like, oh yeah, this is no big deal.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's our future plans?
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it because I'm about to graduate, and I don't know, I'm considering different things. Like, I really want to go on the road. I don't know, that's kind of scary. And then there's also shop jobs. And then I was thinking maybe I should get a shop job and just get some experience. But I'm thinking, like, I don't know. I think I just want to go like feet first, just jump in, like get on the road and try to go for it. Get a combo job.
Yes, do it and tag the heck out of us. We'll post it up and let everybody see. Now, one little piece of advice, I would use your social media and actually get yourself a LinkedIn. And every time you get a job, put your experience, put the jobs that you have on there, and use that to your it's a really strong resource for you. People, the welding community is a really, really small community, and you start seeing pictures, you start tagging companies, and you're going to start getting work from that. Hi, Liza. Hi, Cliff.
Active on social media, just kind of like on a personal level right now, but I'd love to start using it as a tool to get jobs.
I didn't even really know the power of it until I had went to college, because when I had my shop here in California, I was too busy, and I didn't necessarily know that. I mean, I had a Facebook and I used it for merchandising, and we posted a few pictures, but Instagram is where it was at, and I didn't even know. And then LinkedIn came along. So really, once I went to college and I started posting like the good, the bad, and the ugly, holy moly, I became friends with Miller and Electric, and I got my mentors, and I started talking to people all over the world. Like, it's a really, really valuable resource for you when it comes to welding.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, we connected originally like through social media, and I've connected with some other just women welders, and it's been really cool because there aren't any at the school anymore. But just to kind of connect online with these women and kind of see them doing it is like, it makes me feel like I can do it, and I like to like keep up with the pages. I love the posts, especially when you see like a pipe welder.
Dude, so Laura in Ireland and Paige out of San Diego, I'll tag you on my favorites. Really good ones that you would want to follow. Those are my favorites for pipe welding. There's Jen. I don't know where she's located, but it's Get Weld Repair. Good grief. There's a bunch of them, but I'll tag a bunch of them that I know of that you can just follow and reach out to them. The majority of them are really sweet. And unless they're super busy, they'll answer you if you have questions, and even men. But, it's kind of cool when you see a woman doing it.
Yeah, because it's like, there's not that many of us, so it's good to like connect, help each other.
Yay! I love it. So what about your brother? Are you guys graduated yet now?
He is, but I started 2 weeks after him, so I've got some time left. He's, looking for jobs. He's thinking about going to the site in Ohio where, one cool thing about Elite is they a lot of times will send like students to the same job. So you have your friends there that and like they've been there first, and so they can kind of like help you out. So there's this one big job in Ohio that's doing a ton of pipe, and a couple students are up there. So he's going to go hopefully test for it. He's excited.
Oh, that's very cool. Hold on, let me ask. Eliza, do you have anything you want to ask her about her attendance in Arkansas Elite? Eliza is the co-founder of the Welding Women Syndicate. I just saw her pop in. Let's see if she's still in there. I love that. So traveling, you could definitely do that as a pipe welder.
Yeah, definitely.
And a year later, what is their program for you?
What was that? Sorry.
After a year, I know that there's a program that you can go back to.
They have a downhill program. So that's like, I guess like if you're a pipe welder, kind of like the end goal is to be on the pipeline. And so pipeline is downhill. And so T-Bird has a program that he does downhill stick, kind of to prepare you for like, the big jobs on the pipeline. But he really only lets in like a few students a year, and he wants you to like have some experience in the field and like show that like you really can get that pipeline job before he lets you do it, which would be pretty cool. Like, I mean, can you imagine a girl in the pipeline, like
Yes.
pipeline?
Don't,
That's so
you don't
bad.
see it too often, but that would be very, very cool. Eliza asks what your fear was entering school and how the school helped ease that.
I was definitely just like scared I was gonna get harassed all day, like by the students and or the teachers, because you know how boys can be.
Teachers.
But that was the school. Before I ever met the teachers or the students, like T-Bird and the kind of administration staff, they told me like if I have any problems with anyone, like there's like a zero tolerance policy, and
Good.
that's 100% behind me. So that really just I felt like I could just go to school and not be afraid of anything, like because T-Bird has my back. So you know.
That
Uh,
definitely is a lot of like a lot of worry there, I imagine, because it's daunting to go into a program like that.
Definitely. And a lot of programs or like workplaces are like they'll say that, like, oh yeah, we don't tolerate sexual harassment, but they don't really mean it. But
They don't necessarily implement the policy.
yeah, but one cool thing is before I started, and I was kind of like looking at it and like getting enrolled, and I heard about this because my brother was in school. T-Bird got all the students together, all the boys, all the teachers, and gave him a big speech and said, "We have a girl start." I mean, I I don't know if he's watching this. He doesn't know I know about this,
Oh,
but
no, say it.
but he got them all together, and he said basically like, "Oh, we have a girl starting, and I don't want to hear one word. You don't say one word to her, and you don't say one word about her to each other. And her brother's going here, but that's not what. But like, I will hear about it, and you're gone. There's no, we are going to respect her."
I effing love that.
And he told me he's really firm. He said there is no tolerance. I got no problem kicking you out.
Good.
I don't know the exact words. I wasn't there, but I heard about that like before I started. I was like, wow, what a great man. Like I almost cried because I've never had anyone do something like that for me. I've worked at a lot of places and I went to college, and I never felt like they were behind women like that. But he was behind me before he even met me, which is so great to hear.
Yes, that's, you know what? It actually reestablishes how much I love that school, because I only went to that school because it was like the living legend of schools. People had talked about it, and even my instructor out of college said that if he could go to that school, he would. And I was thinking, really? And my instructor was, well, one of my instructors was really, really good. And I was thinking, no way. And then I just grew this intense love for stick welding and pipe welding. And I was like, I'm gonna go check it out. And when I got there, first and foremost, when I saw the video, I was just like seeing stars. You know what I mean? So so the video that we're talking about, you guys, they encourage you to look at this introductory video that T-Bird, who is the owner and founder of Arkansas Elite Welding Academy, and it goes through the programs and basically what they have to offer there. And it's like the most dynamic video that you're ever going to see. So I saw that, and it just basically confirmed the fact that, yes, this is the school that I want to attend, right? And then so I go there, and on top of it, they are just so welcoming and like high energy and gracious. I just felt like I was at home, so it's nice to hear. And I don't know, because sometimes I get into a place where I just absolutely love something, and I don't know if it's just me or I'm not seeing anything bad around it. But when I hear somebody else say that, it just reestablishes the fact how fantastic that school is.
It really is. I've literally never been in an environment that feels like so safe, and like, and then as women, when we go into the workplace or school or whatever, there's harassment a lot of the time, and it's not always a big deal, but it kind of like takes away from the learning experience, even if you can still learn. But here I feel so free to learn and just be myself, because it's like the most welcoming environment I've like literally ever been in. And like, who would have guessed like this building full of like uh, welders would be that environment? But it is, and it's amazing.
I love that for you. I wish every woman who had the opportunity to get into welding could just go and experience the AWA, treatment, because it would definitely change their mind on a lot of things, and it would help change the narrative for so many people out there. I truly believe that. Eliza, do you hear this conversation? Is that weird? We were just talking about this earlier today. We absolutely love it. Safe people, safe environment. Now she asks, what, hold on, I gotta go back to your comments. Sorry, sweetie. She says, what do you recommend to other ladies looking into getting into the trades or school? What would you recommend?
Um, well, I would recommend kind of researching what program, I mean, if you want to do trade school versus college, I mean, I'm kind of biased, but I think trade school is the way to go. I mean, this is a trade, but I mean, I haven't been in a college program to like say it's not a good idea, but what I really like about this shorter program is like you do it for 6 months and you're like ready to get this amazing job. And, you know, I went to college. I mean, I got a liberal arts degree, so I wasn't expecting that much out of it, but I got
Right.
out of college, and then it's like, oh, I'm not qualified for any jobs, which is super fun.
Right.
You know, it's 4 years,
$1,000 later.
so much money. And it's like I had a lot of fun in college, but that's kind of all it was. But what I really like about trade school is like you get out and you get the job, and it's really just about like preparing you to make money. And they're very upfront about we want to prepare you to make money and like have a career, which I just love. And I would definitely recommend going to Arkansas Elite Welding Academy. I mean, I love it here. But I guess more generally, just if you're going to start school, I would take a tour and like kind of meet the people at the school, whatever school it is, and see if it's a good vibe. Because I mean, I feel like I definitely wouldn't have had such a good experience in school if it wasn't such amazing teachers and such an amazing owner like T-Bird,
Yeah.
who's really behind women and supports women and is like there for you 100%.
And they even go furthermore. They even like go and like I don't even know how many times you've been highlighted on their page. Do you realize that?
They do post me a lot.
Well, it comes up because they'll tag me, and that's just the ones that they've tagged me in. You know what I mean? Like I love the fact that it's not just a trend. Like they highlighted Michaela, and it's weird because I had the conversation. I don't even know who I was talking about, but it was weird because the algorithm directly connected me with Michaela because they reached out and they're like, we have this girl. And I was like, sweet, I want to talk to her. And boom, she contacted me. And I was like, that was so weird. And it was the same for
Cool.
Hannah. It was the same for you. So it's not like it's just like Women's Welding Month. You know what I mean? It's every single day they're highlighting it. They're taking pictures. They're showcasing you. You know, they're nurturing you. They're getting ready. You know, I love that.
They're always like so proud of me when I pass, and they, you know, they do love to take my picture and take little videos of me and put me on the Instagram. But you know, I love to have my picture taken, so it works.
I love that. You know what I mean? I just love the fact that that changes the algorithm for women. They will see you. You know what I mean? Like they will see you and they'll feel like, yeah, this school really actually wants me to be there. Not just you're not just another number. They're cultivating a safe environment for you, and they're respecting you, and they're showcasing you. Absolutely love.
Visibility is really important for women. They definitely post me more than any other students, but I'm the only girl, and I think girls like girls can do this. Like I'm in welding school, I'm doing it. I'm just as good as any of the boys. And you don't have to be like super strong or like, you know, it's not this, there's nothing about this that women can't do. And I think it's just a visibility thing. Like women don't, you don't see a lot of women doing it, so you don't think of it. But the more you see, you know, the more women will get into it.
The more they post you, the more we highlight, the more they tag people or organizations like us who will interview you and bring your story to light. Hi, Meadow. Another one of the sisters. She's yelling at us. Hi.
I follow her.
She's awesome. But no, that's the way it is, though. We don't even know that we want to try something new. You know, like me, I'm very visual. Unless I actually see it, I didn't even know that was an option for me. So to see, you know, like another woman as an instructor or a business owner or a pipe welder, whatever the situation may be, you don't necessarily know that that's an option for you until you see it. And then see a school like so like lovingly support you. Oh my word. You know what I mean? We love that.
They're just the best.
Michaela, hi.
Oh, cool.
Like Arkansas is in the house tonight, you guys. I love it. I know. I missed seeing her out there. I felt so bad. I just didn't have enough time. I was out there for quite a long time, but it wasn't enough time. I tried. Next time, I'm trying to go out in August, you guys. I love it. So, okay, so you're like a nomad like me. You went to school here, you live there, you've been over here. Like, so
Yeah,
maybe
I love hearing
Ohio
that. That's a
there.
big part of why I'm doing this, because I don't want to be tied down. I don't want to work in an office in a city where the air is just gross. And I love
Yeah.
to be outside. And I feel like welding is so perfect if you're, if you're just kind of a free spirit and you don't want to do that corporate like lifestyle, you know?
Yeah, I
I,
agree.
I this is great. I don't know.
No, continue. Trust me, I feel the same way. Like,
I feel like there's something like so natural and right about working with your hands. I feel like humans are just not meant to be sitting at a desk all day. Like there's something very unnatural about that, like what it does to your body. Like I had the worst like back problems in college from like hunching over a computer and then going to my internship and hunching over a computer there
yes.
and then you're just always sitting and then you can go to the gym like run a mile, but it doesn't do much if you're sitting for like 12 hours a day. But like I have felt so much better since I've like started welding because I'm standing all day and I'm working with my
It's
hands. I'm
for your head too, your mind.
yeah, definitely. And you're it's like mind body connection. It's just it's like the best thing. I think it's like you see older welders like male or female like you, like I would have never guessed your age. You're so beautiful. I think it keeps you young. I think welding is part of that. And like the teachers, they all look younger than they are. I think it's like something about like being outside and working with your hands and doing something real and like really challenging your mind and your body every day. I think it's so healthy and it's just like the best kind of life you can live. I'm so excited about it.
I love the way you explain it. That's exactly how I felt when I had been MIG welding for a very long time. Don't get me wrong. And I felt probably the happiest I ever did when I entered the shop and was working on cars. But that moment that I learned how to stick weld, oh my God. And see, my internship was at Air Gas. So I know, I was never sitting, never. It was awful. It was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and it was 150 degrees.
It's very
But
hot.
well, you know what's crazy is I absolutely loved it. I didn't want to stop welding. And when you love what you do and you get paid for that, you really do have. Don't call me in the middle of the live. Sorry. But no, it's true. Like when you actually get to be paid for something you do and you love it, it really does something to your soul.
Fun. And it's it was an adjustment at first to go from like to just like standing all day and stuff, but you get used to it really quick and then you realize like how good you feel. Like
Yeah.
I've never felt better. And it's like it's all the school's also been like a fitness program for me. Like
Right. Yeah.
like I haven't been able to go to
Yes.
the gym as much because, like 13-hour days. So I basically gone down to just yoga in the mornings. But it's like I've been at a fitness boot camp,
Love
I feel
that.
so healthy and it's just from like working with your hands and like doing something amazing every day. It's so great.
Well, at the same time, if you didn't absolutely love that, you wouldn't feel that. Because
Mhm.
I've seen people who weld who maybe they shouldn't weld because they don't feel that way. You know what I mean? Like you have to absolutely love it to feel that 100% connection. And I love the fact that you went from having a philosophy major to not knowing absolutely nothing about welding to just having this mind blowing experience.
Well,
That's so cool.
yeah. One thing is like I've been kind of impulsive in my life. Like I majored in philosophy and I yeah, backpacked the world and I kind of just like flitted around doing whatever. But that's what led me to this,
Yeah.
which is going to lead me to this life where I can just like flit around to different like welding jobs on the road and travel and be
Now,
outside.
have you thought about like underwater welding or other different like mechanized welding or
Love to do.
robotic?
I mean, eventually, like I feel like underwater welding would be so badass. It'd be so cool. I love to scuba dive, and so someone will let me
Do
train in
it! Do
it.
it! Okay, so check this out. So I didn't realize that when I was in Dallas, one of the schools, Side Part Welding, it's Cypress High School, they were doing a diving demonstration and he was like, you could have came and did underwater welding. And I was like, what? Okay, so fun fact, it's not necessarily fun, it kind of stinks, but when you go into when you want to go into underwater welding, you actually do age out. Now I know nobody knows that I'm as old as I am, but when I was in college, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I want to do underwater welding. I'm a swelder. We can see my shoulders. I swim every single day. I grew up at the beach, but you are supposed to have 2 years of your deep diving experience, and then you license, excuse me, and then you're supposed to go to school. I think it's for another 1 to 2 years. And I was already at the point, I think I was 37 or 38. So I couldn't do it. I aged out of underwater
What is the
welding.
age? Like 30? Like you can scuba dive at 38. I don't know, but
No, but they for the school, I would have been already too old for them. I guess because it's really tough on your body. You just don't do it very long. But I was like, I know that there's a private organization that will allow me to have that experience. I've seen it at Precision in Houston and now Dallas. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get my experience, even if I can't do it as a profession.
that's so cool.
And
I
even
mean,
stick welding and pipe welding, it's freaking magical to me. I love it.
but there's so many different types of welding and so many like specialized types, and I don't necessarily know like what will be, the thing that I think it'll come to me, but I can't wait to find it and try tons of different things, and
Do them all.
you never get bored. There's always like different stuff to try, and if you're tired of pipe, you can do structural or different. I mean, I just can't wait to see all the possibilities out there. I'm so
You can
excited.
go into micro TIG, you can go into specialty metals, you can go into automotive, dude, the sky is the limit. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different processes out there for you to try.
It's so cool. It's so exciting. It's like you're never going to be bored. But
Never.
I'm ready to be bored, and I get bored easily, but not with welding.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been bored with welding. It's always something. And I know Bonnie just said it's very hard on your body and dangerous, but I love that aspect. I don't know what's wrong with me that I actually like welcome that type of like danger into my life, but I've always been like that. Like, oh my God, yes, let's go to the top of the building. Let's jump out of a plane, like that's me.
Saying like, oh, or if y'all are afraid of heights, you're gonna have a tough time. And I was like, I love heights. I like to rock climb. I'm all about it. Please put me at the top of a building. Like, I really want to have a picture. I want to, be in like a harness, welding. That looks so fun.
Iron worker, girl. You can go and
Maybe.
become an iron worker. There's so many different avenues. My goodness. Yeah, there's so many different. And you're so young. You can basically taste all of them.
hmm
That's cool. I love that.
I don't think it's that hard on the body. I think it's good for the body. I think being in an office is way harder on the body. Like National Geographic did this thing about like the human evolution thing, and the end of it was like an office worker, and it
Oh no.
really bad. It did not look good. It was like totally hunched, like it was like a different human species.
Well, imagine it's just like you. It's just like an animal being in a cage, right?
It is.
Their lifespan is shorter. They're not happy. They're disgruntled. Like okay, so I know another weird fact. I worked in downtown LA, and I was trying to become a stockbroker. I had an investment portfolio. I was in real estate investment, and I absolutely hated the job every single day. I was sitting at a desk. I was on the phone. I was working a computer, and I think I was like 23, 24 years old, and I was like, this is not for me. I was not made to be in an office. The only time I was actually happy is when the idea of we were going to like huge conventions or traveling or driving, and then I was excited, but it wasn't for me. And I invested so much time and energy and resources into doing that, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do this if I don't love it. I don't care how much money I invested, and I did so much money. And I was like, screw it, I'm not happy here.
And then I can totally believe that like you would have killed it if you did decide to do that, because you're highly intelligent, right? But if you don't love it, why do it?
I'm just like you. Like if I did not have that connection, you know what I mean? And I was just like, all right, next. I loved the real estate investment part as far as like flipping homes. I loved that aspect. And that's where I actually, which is weird, one of my last homes, I was like 28 years old. And the one trade I didn't have under my belt was welding. I was painting. I did carpentry. I did tile work. I even designed my own kitchen because they brought in some fancy designer. He was from NASA previously, and he tried to like browbeat me into submission on a design, and I was like, I don't like it. So I went through and designed my whole kitchen, and granted, I was like 25, 26 years old, And I loved that. And then, whatever work that we could do on flipping the house, that's what I did. And I had like a newborn. I had, like I'm nursing a newborn, going upstairs and downstairs. And I was also a soccer mom, and I'm doing all this stuff. But I loved that, the hands-on aspect. And I was like, I really need to learn how to weld. And it wasn't until like, I think 5 years later when I walked into the shop, and that's where it all started with welding. Loved it.
That's so cool. I mean, welding is badass. Like male or female, but you kind of have to be a badass, you love working with your hands, but it is so worth it. It is so fun.
Well, hear this, like my evolution with welding, it went from shop hands to automotive, custom suspension. I went to get formal education, and then I learned structural, and then I worked big structural, and then I did private instruction. Then I came to, I got my degree, obviously, and then I was trying to go into pipe welding, and then came back to California, taught, and now who knows? Like, I'm telling you, if I could have done the underwater welding, I would have absolutely done it, but too old, guys. So do it for me, and I can live vicariously through you.
Hey, I'm all about it. I love being in the water.
Oh, I love it. And I've had several students who wanted to pursue it, and I'm like, yes, here, I'll like give you any resource I have. Anybody I know that does it, here's their phone number, here's their Instagram handle. I want to do it just because, like, I think it's such a cool and interesting job.
It is. I love hearing the stories of like how people progress in welding, and a lot of times it's like all around. They'll do structural, and then they'll do pipe, and they don't like pipe. It's the same thing every day, so they go back to structural, and then whatever it is, you usually make pretty good money, and I like that part too.
Of course. Now, what about plans to have your own rig?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, a lot of people say that's the move. It's probably a while off for me, but definitely eventually, kind of owning your own business, pretty cool.
Yes, that's definitely on my bucket list right now, is to have my own welding rig. I know it's funny. I just saw JK Welding's, like, oh my God, his COE. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And he has a beautiful Lincoln in the back, and it's, oh my God, it's gorgeous. And I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want right there.
You got to set the goal and then make it happen.
Dude, I'll send you the picture. I don't know if you've seen it. It's beautiful. Whenever I just saw one, I went to Michael's because I'm doing jewelry right now. You never know what the hell I'm going to be doing. So I'm making jewelry again. It's been like 10 years. Who knows? My brain never stops. But there was somebody had this most beautiful welding rig, and I like stopped, and I'm pulling out my phone to take a picture. Like, oh, I love them. And it's like, you feel simpatico with them. Like, hi, welder friend, I love you. Like, we're friends. I love you. It's true. It's such a small community. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I could go onto Instagram right now and post up what that rig was, and somebody would know who they are,
Yeah. It's so fun. Like, I have so much fun introducing myself these days, and then people are like, oh, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm a welder. People are like, when I'm just in my normal clothes or whatever, they're always like, what?
I love it.
Say? What? So I'm in school, but I want to be a pipe welder. It's just like, I feel so happy saying it.
I love that.
And I've never had something like that before, and it's so exciting. I feel like I've really found my path, and it's great.
I love that for you. Seriously, I completely understand that feeling. I was the same way. I've had so many different paths in life, and from parenting to this, that, and the other, like, like when you can just smile stupidly and just brag about, and you're wearing your steel toes all day, or just welding to your sweat is dripping off your nose, like, you made it. You're happy.
Best. And I love the clothes that go along with welding, actually. Like, I love wearing overalls and like Wranglers, and they're practical. You're not trying to like dress up for an office you're not trying to wear a cardigan because you can't show your shoulders. You're trying to not show your shoulders so they don't get burned. It's very like,
I'm doubling up because it's flex core, okay?
Yeah. I'm wearing this leather jacket so I don't burn myself. Like, it's practical, and I love that.
Yes, I love it too. I love the shock value, because whenever I have that conversation with people, because normally if I leave the house, this is how I look. And if you get into the conversation of what do you do, they're like, excuse me? And I'm like,
I love that look on people's face.
I love the shock value, but when you start going, like, nobody wants to believe you, and you start getting like real nerdy and start talking about code or processes and
Yeah.
that they have absolutely no knowledge on, they're like, oh, she's legit. And I hate that you have to actually validate yourself when you're a woman, but I could care less. I will blow people's minds away. I'm like, oh, check this out, magazine cover. Oh, check this out, I'm also a teacher. Oh, check this out, I got a company that advocates for women. Like, what else do you
Cool.
I love it, dude. I love the shock value.
It's crazy that there's like no women in this field. I mean, I know there are women, but like when you say it, people like have never heard of that before. They're like, what?
Right. Well, now you're a standing testament to, look, now they could actually see a woman welder who doesn't necessarily, I think when people think welder, they just think of a man. And I love to break that, like, no, I'm a welder, like, no, this is what a welder could look like. And I love the fact that I could be a living testament to that.
Definitely. And it's not like you have to be like anything. You don't have to be like a man to be a welder. Like you can be a very feminine woman and be great at welding, if anything better, because women have better attention to detail. I mean, we just,
No, seriously. I had my last class was predominantly women, four ladies class, and their attention to detail and they're just the way that they handle themselves, they're so graceful and they listen and they're so calculated and they're just so eager to pass, like they're just very, very hardworking. And not that my other students weren't, but women even more so. Do you feel that you were like that in school?
Yeah, I mean, I love school and I've always been really determined in it. And with welding, it's like school, like college, like everything my whole life, I was good at it. I always made straight A's and I never had to work that hard for the A's. Like it was kind of just like, type out an essay real quick, like don't proofread it, turn it in. It was like no big deal. But welding was like a real challenge.
Yes.
Nothing in my life had ever really challenged me like this, but I liked that. But it was not something I just like came into and I was a natural and I was just like so great. Like I really had to work at it. But it was like I'm so grateful to have something that will like continue to challenge me and will never bore me, because it's always evolving. You're always learning. That's one of the main things I like about it. Like I'll never stop learning. I don't think you ever do as a welder.
No, you have. I mean, rules, regulations, and code changes. Every year, like there's always something new that you have to learn. We have to keep up with technology, so we have to constantly learn something new. So you're never going to be stale. You're constantly challenging your brain, And
you can always like write your own code. Like some of the teachers at my school, they're trying to like,
yes,
I think you get it like, I'm not really sure, but you make a welding procedure and you're like, this works. And then you like, I don't know, you would know more. Like you send it off somewhere, like write it up. Like,
yes, and that's funny because I'm actually going for my CWI right now, CWI and CWE. So I mean, that's just the next steps in my career. That's something that I want to have under my belt because I want to be able to pass it forward to my students.
That is so cool. I mean, I'm definitely interested eventually in doing CWI. I feel like that would be really cool. But I love to weld, and just right off the bat, I just want to like get to it. A lot of people assume like when you're a woman, I mean, or just with me, they have that you're trying to get into like construction management. Like, oh, are you trying to like do this other thing through welding? And then, but it's like, no, I want to weld. And they're like, well, the whole time, or do you want to eventually be, I don't know, something where you're like in an office on a construction site? And
why does it have to be like that?
And then they're like, what do you want to do eventually? I mean, eventually you're going to have kids and be in an office, right? And it's like, well, I don't know, but maybe the pipeline would be like the long-term goal for me. But I don't know.
If you choose to have kids, that's a built-in welder helper right there. Like, don't even, like, that's cool. I told my daughter if she has children, which it's not a necessity, but if I could borrow them, then they could be my little welder helpers. You know what I mean? Because hey, why not? Like.
I mean, but you can totally have kids and be a welder. I mean,
what's your view on that one? How has people told you that? If you're gonna anticipate a family in the future, do you think that people expect you to come out of welding?
I think the school actually will like talk about having kids. They actually is
really.
kids have kids. Not me, but it's Arkansas. Like a lot of these kids have kids. It's okay. And they say like, you should be on the road and try to like earn as much money as you can, and then, you can settle down in a shop job and like have your savings. And that's kind of like the plan they advocate for. I think that makes sense, because you don't want to be on the road your whole life.
I do.
I do. I mean, it sounds good right now for sure.
Girl, I have been a nomad probably for the past 10 years.
That is so cool.
And you know what? I get wanderlust really quick. Come on, I just got home on Tuesday morning at 1:30 in the morning, and I'm like, that car show in Oklahoma in a couple weeks looks good. You know what I mean? Like,
Cool. That's like the kind of life I want to live, where you can just like go do whatever you want. Like, oh, you want to go to Oklahoma? Go.
you're a welder. You know what I mean? You're gonna have work. There's gonna be something for you to do. And it's not just like I have had such a diverse background that I can go to like an automotive shop or a welding shop or a college and get work. You know what I mean? So I don't fear when I travel like that. So one of the great things of just kind of touching base on every, like, do it all. You know what I mean? Like, try it all. Who cares? Even if it's not welding related, like it will. That's why I want to go into CWI, because I think it helps you become a better welder, especially as a teacher, learn a different aspect of it.
Yeah, and you can really like tell the students exactly what a CWI is looking for, or say like, oh, as your teacher, I would pass this, but as a CWI, you'd be packing up.
Well, I'm not even a CWI, and I told them that. Like, you're given a procedure when you go through and do the certification process, at least in my school, and you have to abide by certain curriculum. And I would tell them, there's an eighth inch here, there's an allowance here, and I think I was actually worse than the CWI. Like, no way is that going to pass visual, because for one, it's your name. When they go out in the field and they ask, well, who taught you how to weld? Tiffany. I want to make sure that they're good enough to actually say my name. You know what I mean? Because it took me a very long time to get proficient at what I do. So I don't want just anybody to be able to say, oh yeah, I got my certification. No big deal.
Mm-hmm. And you hear that a lot of schools will just like give you a bunch of certs, but not necessarily like prepare you for the field. But I haven't been to other schools to like verify that. But I would hate to just like have a cert, but have no way to back it up.
Well, I remember I had a student. He was having a hard time with FlexCore. And I think he ended up doing it like 6 times. And he was like, well, what if you just turn my back and you don't see that? And I was like, okay, how about this? I said, how about we just treat this as if it's like a high rise that you're welding on and there's an earthquake. And that earthquake ends up cracking on that weld that I didn't see. And somebody dies. Do you really think I should turn my back on that? And he was like, why do you have to be so mean? I said, no, that's reality. That's reality there when you think about it.
The Memphis Bridge, I mean, that has something to do with welding, right?
Yep.
So.
Well, unfortunately, I just saw a guy, he was just killed in Oklahoma. He was welding on, I don't know if it was a boiler or a pipe or whatever it was, but he was killed yesterday or today.
Oh no. Do you know what was the situation?
I don't know. I'll send it to you. I just saw it like right before the.
I mean, accidents happen. One of the students that is a recent graduate got like pretty injured recently. There was something like on a forklift, and they wanted him to get under it while it was on the lift to weld, and he did, and then it just dropped.
Oh.
And he's actually not. He had to go to the emergency room, but he's gonna be okay. But it's so scary. But
there's dangers associated with everything, but as long as we push you to do your best, especially as an instructor, and to make sure that your students leave with common sense and knowledge and safety, because you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting the integrity of that structure and whomever is going to be on that structure, whoever's around that structure. I've seen it where ammonia lines, they exploded due to a weld, and they had to evacuate a town. So it's not just you and your safety. It's people on the job, around the job, your community around. It's thank you. You guys are cracking. I just saw that. I appreciate that comment. But no, it's so much more than just protecting you. You know what I mean? So Girl, we have already done an hour.
Oh
How
wow.
did that happen?
I can't even believe it. So
I knew we needed a more extended version. I felt
yeah.
so bad. Okay, so this is what happened, you guys. I legit just walked into her school and pulled her out of her lunch and did like a crazy like impromptu live right there in like the middle of her class. And then I was like, okay, we gotta hurry up and get this done so she can go back to school. It was the most insane, but that was so fun. That was the first time I've ever done that. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was short, but it was a great little talk.
Well, I appreciate you spending time with us again tonight. I really wanted a better audio because I think your story is just so important. I think it's important to see women who question whether they're a good fit for going into this, but you really give us some really valid advice, like going through and doing your research and seeing your face, especially not having any knowledge or any opportunity of doing welding before, and then going to a full-fledged welding school. And what better school? I mean, what that's just like your calling, right? Going into AWA is a school that actually highlights women and nurtures and gives you, they cultivate like such a supportive environment for women, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that school. Can't say enough good about it.
Definitely. I mean, if there's anyone still hanging on after an hour, like if you're thinking of a welding school, like the best advice I could give is make it to Arkansas Elite. I mean, people come from California. We have people from Alaska.
I'm trying to still get in it right now. I talked to
something special about this school and about T-Bird and about this curriculum. I mean, I don't know about other schools, but I know we get a lot of students from other schools that say, like, my school did not prepare me, and I'm here, and I want to be at T-Bird school. And I think more girls should go there because I can't imagine a better school for a woman to go to than Arkansas Elite.
I agree. I'm actually currently trying to get into that school right now.
So that'd be so cool if you
I
went there.
know. Well, I had a conversation with Saki about like some resources that I could actually go toward in the military that I may be able to take advantage of.
Oh, that's awesome.
Due to my family being in it. So I'm definitely exploring it right now. I tried for over a year, you know, and it was so hard. Just because there's resources in the state of Arkansas for people who want to take advantage of that. But because I had a college degree, it actually backfired. But it didn't, you know, it allowed me to go in a different avenue, which I have had the best time ever being an instructor, but I want to learn more, and I want to learn more on the pipe welding end. Mm-hmm. Something that I haven't had the opportunity to finish because I was passing my 6G when I graduated. I ended up going into the Skills USA competition, and I didn't have enough time to go through the curriculum. And I remember I had my coupon too, and I knew for sure I was going to pass, and I don't know what happened to it.
But anyway, that'd be so cool if you could do the pipe course.
Yes, I want to do it. Like, pipe welders are magical. I'm so proud of you for going through and just completely, like, you know, blowing through the curriculum and being highlighted with my favorite school. I absolutely love that. I think it's fate. So what is some advice that you can give, aside from obviously the fact like the best school ever is AWA, but what's some advice as we're wrapping this up, would you give to women who are thinking about changing their career or doing something different?
I would say, like, first you need to think about if your job is making you happy. And just, I'm biased, but I think a lot of jobs probably it isn't. And know that there are other options out there. I feel like welding is kind of like this well-kept secret. Like,
yes,
they're amazing. Even if it's not welding, it's like, think about what you love and like what you want to do and just go for it. And trade school's amazing, and they're usually short programs, so just get in one. You know, it's okay to be impulsive. Sometimes it leads to like amazing things. And I would say just why not try it? If you have any interest at all, get into trade school.
Yes, I mean, look at what you did. You impulsively joined AWA, and you just feel like this whole mind, body, soul connection. Like now you want to do all things welding related, which I absolutely love of you, you know?
Yeah, definitely. But as far as like advice for women, I think the main thing is like, there's nothing about welding or any other trade that you can't do because you're a woman. There's no physical feat that like says, oh, this has to be a man lifting this. Like, you know, you really can do it. It's like any other trade. I mean, it's like nursing or anything else. It's women can do it, and you know, you're probably gonna be better at it. So just go for it.
Facts. I love that. what is it? Boys drill, women rule. I'm kidding, guys, kinda. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and please keep us updated on your progress and your graduation, so we can celebrate with you at the same time. And yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and stay tuned for what we have coming for you next week.
This
I'll
is so
talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.